move around, you look, you interact, you throw things. Can we throw a paddy? That sounds quite entertaining. We have a flashlight which we can shake. Why do we want to do that? Exactly, we review the objectives with tabs. Okay, never mind. Let us play the game, please. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. By signing below, I affirm that in the event of my death, all remnants of my consciousness are to be permanently extinguished. I give full permission to any state equity or contractors thereof to carry out extinguishment to the extent afforded by the state. I'm sorry. What? My last will and testimony, I ask you to extinguish my soul? Okay, that's a bit strange, but this is gorgeous. Use left click to interact with things. Can I interact with this little book, please? Vat and pipe management. That sounds like a thrilling read, I must say. Yeah, I can pick things up and throw them around. Huh. All right. Yeah, just look at that. That is beautiful. It reminds me a bit of the environment of Resident Evil 4, actually. Like the village bit. Can I go through this door, please? I'll just push it open in my face. Goodness, this is gorgeous, isn't it? Just look at this. This is absolutely lovely. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a game called Spectral Filter, I think this is called. Which had a rather strange sort of description on its page. It seemed like it was describing a sort of a mortuary, and that there had been some sort of problem there. There had been unattended for many hours due to a previous technician not reporting the issue, and then you turn up. But it did not seem very sort of cut and dry, if you like. Oh, there we are. That one worked better. The other one must have been stiff, hadn't been properly lubricated. Press tab to look at objectives. The technician before you was unable to process the body and failed to report the hazardous issue in nearly 17 hours. As a result, the site has become increasingly hazardous. Find the filter that they left behind so it can be used to process the dead. Yes. They didn't say the final sentence, but those first two sentences were what was on the game page, and it confused me a little, and I can't quite remember why. The previous technician noted leaving the filter in the office. The accident reported implied the body is in the maintenance area. Refrain from running, using your flashlights, or otherwise during. Attention to yourself. Auditory and visual aberrations have been reported. You are the only person expected to be present. Avoid anything that suggests otherwise. I remember reading that as well. Now that confused me, definitely. Figure A model of filter used by previous worker. Right. Interesting. So, I get the impression we are at some kind of mortuary or a morgue or an embalming centre of one kind or another. But it seems like there's something more. Something more than just bodies being handled here. There's some form of spirit or soul that needs to pass over as well. And we seem to be involved in that. Yeah, I'm not going to sprint because I was told not to. And I'm a good boy. I do as I'm told. That's why I chuck things around like a numpty. This really is very beautiful. Well, at least it was when I could see it. Yeah, alright, let's go into this room because at least there's a vague modicum of light in here. Is there any kind of fuse box or anything that I could get things running with again? Do I have a flashlight? I don't think I do. What is this? There's another little book here. There's a little tin here for keeping my sandwiches in. Excellent. Another little tin here for keeping my cake in. Perfect. Can I go through this door? Can I find a room with a flashlight in it, please? There we are. It seems like the doors that open towards you are alright, but the ones that open away from you are a little bit more difficult. Right. What else can I tell you about the game? It said that you should play it with a gamepad because it makes use of vibrations. So obviously I don't have the benefit of that. I'm not sure how that would be useful. Perhaps like a proximity thing. For like maybe footsteps of a bad guy patrolling around, and then the vibrations get softer as the footsteps get softer as they move further away from you. I don't think this is actually a doorway, and if it is, it's not one I can interact with. I don't have a light, do I? No, pressing F and space isn't doing anything, so I can only assume that I don't have it. I'm managing to get through though, which means the lighting is balanced quite nicely thus far. Any flashlights? No, just some more boxes with more sandwiches in them. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. And I seem to have ended up in the same place that I started. Oh no, we have reached somewhere different. A fuse box! Hooray! Good. I shall have this, please. Yes, indeed. I better turn that off, because that's what the note said, didn't it? Refrain from running, using flashlights, and otherwise drawing attention to yourself. Okay, so when not necessary, I'm going to have that off. Oh, the little hard house. That was one of those little bells that they have on the desk of of reception at hotels. I do sincerely apologise. Alrighty then. Oh, so the batteries in the flashlight are a bit gammy, because it started to flash there when I pressed space, and then everything got sorted out. So I need to kind of reset it a little bit. Yeah, this is not a door, this is just a panel. Not the kind you can ask questions to, or possibly the kind that asks questions to you, depending on what side of the job interview you're in. But never mind, that isn't the point. Yes, to stop it from flickering. There we go. Okay, so that makes sense now. I was wondering what all that was about. Bit of old-fashioned percussive maintenance. If it doesn't work, shake it and hit it. Or possibly hit it onto other things in order to make it better. Alright then. That perhaps means that we don't have any kind of battery mechanic, since there's no description, or any like a meter is the word I'm looking for. Some little padlocks here. Not sure what all these are about. Can I still throw them? Yes. Curiously, I might just turn that off, to be quite frank, since we're in a relatively well-lit environment. What was I talking about? I'm surprised that my memory was so poor. I'm surprised that the items don't make any sound when you throw them on the floor or drop them. Because if I'm expected to make sound by making sort of sprinting and things, you'd think dropping items would... It's alright, I remember. I'm looking for this thing that looks a bit like a dictaphone. To be honest, it looks an awful lot more like a dictaphone than it does look like a filter, but never mind. Oh goodness, I have reached the facility. Okay, so there's the offices, the maintenance. Kitty, that took far too long for me to realise. There's maintenance and there's a plant. Okay, let's go and see a plant, because let's be honest, the air quality down here probably isn't very good, so let's go to a nice oxygen-rich environment. We can get a nice breath of fresh air before we get our face ripped off by whatever monster is down here. What's all that? I don't know. Some sort of big electrical box of things, perhaps. But yes, just to return to my thought about the sound. It seems like sound and stealth and so forth are quite important in this game. Sorry, I think a shadow just went through my face slightly. So yeah, I'm just surprised that you can't make noises with items. The idea either being that it was dark in here, but it suddenly got even darker. Also, when I came around the corner, I mistook that shelving unit for a ladder, so forgive me for that. Yes. Yeah, you think you'd be able to like throw items around or drop them in order to sort of make sounds, in order to either lure an enemy or distract an enemy or something like that. So I'm a little bit surprised that that isn't a thing, but at least I don't need to worry about it if I do want to pick things up for the sake of having a look at them. Again, really mistaking things for things that they're not. Okay, I've reached the plant. Okay, so let's wander around and see what under the sun we want. The body has been left in the maintenance area, and the filter is in the office. So what you're essentially saying is that there's no reason between here and hell that I should be in the plant. Okay. Open the door. Dear, what do you have? Any things of interest? It would seem not, no. I find myself wondering if the kind of villain that we're dealing with is perhaps some kind of a poltergeist. What with those little books falling off the shelf that we saw before. I need to stop trying to go through doors that don't have handles on them. Yeah, we might be dealing with some kind of poltergeist, perhaps, if that's perhaps the spirit of the body that's been left here and hasn't been properly attended to. He might be a bit cross about life. Don't Panic by Seaman. Indeed. I could believe that that is the name of a real book. Probably some sort of dreadful self-help book that you're supposed to read after becoming unemployed. But never mind, this is not a day for me to have rants about things that aren't relevant. This is a day for me to play a game or telling jokes that aren't relevant. Okay, we've reached the maintenance area. Okay, it doesn't seem like there was much in the plant. Don't know what they were making. Presumably something gaseous that was being distributed through these pipes. One presumes anything here of interest? Some more boxes, some little jerry cans, and a little mug of tea or something. right? That all seems perfectly reasonable, if admittedly a little scary. There's another book here. What does this say? This is more vat and pipe maintenance. Again with the lights dying. I heard a tapping noise. Did you hear that? That was very quiet and very subtle. It also said that you're supposed to play the game with headphones on for the sake of picking up on audio cues. So I'll throw the volume up a little bit on the speakers in order to try and make it a little bit better for myself. But I should also try and be a little bit quiet in case. Oh, it's a chair. So I thought it was a cat sitting on top of a barrel at first, but no, I don't think that's true. I'll also try and be a little bit more quiet so that I don't block out any important sounds. Okay, there's access to the office there. I think that might... Oh no, that's a shelving unit, isn't it? I thought there was a weird load of bars, like a prison cell. That would have been most mysterious. Okay, that's where we've just come from. Okay, so we've gone a little loop. That's alright. Let me just shake my flashlight. Yeah, that working again. Okay, I sprinted, which was risky, but I'm still alive. Hello? Are you a dead body person? Hello, dead body person. No filter in inventory. Find the filter to proceed. Oh, we need the filter for the body. Okay, I thought we just needed to like install the filter somewhere, like in the ventilation system, in order to like filter the effect of the poltergeist out of the air. I don't understand regular science. All right, expecting me to understand science fiction science is expecting a lot out of my very, very small brain. Can I go through this door, please? Thank you very much. Okay, so I've got to find the filter first, and then I'll come back and somehow use it on the body. This frickin' light. No, sorry, I thought I could hear some footsteps then, but I think they're just my own. What's with this big empty room? What is this? There's been a lot of news about big companies laying people off recently. Has this company also laid off half their staff and just told them to clear out their desks, take their desks with them, leaving half the office space empty? I do not know. Okay, what's that? There's something back there. I saw a thing. Oh, I think it's just a bit of trash on the floor that's catching the light. Yeah, I don't think that's anything of importance. What is this? This is a book. This is a book that I cannot read because it's the wrong way around. Oh, it's the right way around now. Let us get honest and put it on the coffee table and have a view of it. If we can actually get onto the other side of the coffee table, which I can't do because I'm ever so slightly too fat. Employment retention strategies is not what the companies have been reading recently, if the news headlines are anything to go by. Okay. I keep hearing sounds like doors are shutting behind me, but nothing actually seems to be happening. Which is good. I like that this game is doing quite a good job of sort of unnerving me. Oh no, I can't get in there. Did you see that hard hat move just for a split second, just as I first looked at it? Or am I going crazy? I'm probably going completely stark raving mad. Alright, let's go through here. Maybe we can find the office psychologist or office counsellor, whatever it is, that has become the latest innovation. Here is the thing that I needed. Picked up filter. Get on this frickin' light. I sort of shake it every hither and thither just as a preventative. We'll print out a spreadsheet here. How very thrilling. Anything else around here? There's another doorway. Can I go through here? Looks like some sort of storage room, like a little warehouse or something. Is this where we keep the dead bodies? Would you go through the door? Thank you very much. No, this is where we keep many, many books. Why do we need so many books in this place? So we're... Why do we have so many problems with our vat and pipes that we need so many books on how to look after them? I don't know. There's many little tins here. We could possibly survive the apocalypse in here, which is it's nice. Nice to know that you've got options. Nice to know that you can't even escape the office even when the world is burning. So that's good to know. Can we go through here? Yes, we can. Into what looks a little bit like a classroom, but I think it's more likely to actually be a kind of a dining room. Some sort of canteen or something. Would you open the door? Thank you. Would you open the door and keep it open, please? Thank you. I didn't realise it was so much to ask for. Right, man alive. My left wrist is getting a real workout at the moment. Actually, never mind where that was going. Because the mouse sensitivity in this game is very low. Which means, I really have to move the mouse around an awful lot in order to actually go anywhere. Where have I ended up again? I've ended up in the plant again, haven't I? Which isn't really where I want it to be. I need to get back into the maintenance place so that I can use the filter, and definitely not find that the person we were going to use the filter on has moved. Or at the very least, he's being defended by some kind of unearthly spirit. Or frankly, I wish it was unearthly. That way, it wouldn't be on Earth, and I wouldn't have to deal with the infernal thing anymore. I think we've wandered back into the offices by accident. Yes, we have. I don't quite understand how this map works. I think I'm just losing my sense of direction quite badly. But we shall see what we find. I've forgotten to shake it for a while. Idiot. Get it in, out, and shake it all about. And then everything will be better. Right. Hello, friend. Allow me to filter out whatever it is that you don't want me to have
Beginning filter process. Please stand by.
Okay. It speaks. Good for it. But what are we filtering out? That moved. I'm not crazy. That definitely moved. There's definitely a poltergeist here. Maybe I should stand slightly further away from this. Again with the lights going brighter and dimmer. Don't remember installing any dimmer switches around here. Just remember hiring someone who's dimmer than average. That being me. Is this finished yet? Check back. Should check back later? What do you mean check? What do you exactly do you expect me to do now? Nothing. This all seems to be the same. And there's still that note about avoid anything that suggests otherwise. Does that mean I might have like a hallucination that says that there's someone else here? A fellow technician? Someone to help me? A friend? Maybe I should go in the plant. If I had no reason to go into the plant yet. Maybe go back in there for a while. Yes, perhaps if I see something that suggests another presence, I should avoid it. Filter process halted. Restore power in area to continue. Oh, great. Is that the same? Sorry, I'm just gonna. Sorry, my phone was on my desk and I had a light flashing on it to tell me that something was going on, and it was very distracting and very annoying. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Are those the auditory things they were talking about? Am I hallucinating quite terribly? Is that what's going on? Let's see what we've got in here. I doubt it'll be a fuse box. We'll try all the same. Hello? Any fuse boxes in here? I don't think so. No. In fact, there was the grand total of nothing in here at all. The light really does not penetrate the darkness. Which is nice on the one hand, because it makes it spooky. On the other hand, it makes it a little bit horrific. Did you hear a tapping sound? Almost like someone knocking on a door. Very strange. Do I need to go back to the same fuse box where we originally got the power back on again? Or do I need to go to a different one? Is there like somewhere else that I need to go now? The thing is, the thing that's really getting under my skin about this light is when it flashes, flashing lights give me a headache. Well, you're still here. Yes. He hasn't wandered off yet, which is nice of him at least. He's got the respect to sit there until I finish with my jobs. Yeah, just the flashing light, it gives me a headache and it kind of strains my eyes. So it's not just that I feel kind of scared. I also feel sort of physically taxed by this as well, which is possibly intentional and possibly quite cleverly done. But I don't know, because there must be. Oh, is this the room I couldn't go into before? Yeah, because that hat probably moved, and I can't see it now, it's too dark. I can't restore the power here, can I? No, I don't think I can reach to the barrier. Okay then, we'll have to keep wandering around, I suppose. The problem with this is you have to be at the right sort of distance in order to interact with this properly. But when you get too close, you can't see anything. Because the light goes down. Just a bit of a pain in my bum, but never mind. This is going to open. This is going to open. It would seem the answer to that question is no. Is there something blocking it on the other side? Not that I can see. Thank you. Oh yeah, this is the warehouse bit. I'd forgotten about this. Well, I'd completely forgotten about this due to the very small brain capacity that I call my own. Alright, we don't actually think we're finding anything here. And a surprisingly small number of spooky things. So, see all this flashing light. Crying out loud. I already had a slight headache when I started playing this game. I didn't need you making it worse, my friend. Never mind. It doesn't matter. What the hell is that? That is a suggestion that there's somebody else here, and as such, I'm going to run away from it. Getting out. When it says avoid things that suggest you are not alone, does it mean, like, things that literally suggest I'm not alone, like, I don't know, a voice of somebody else or me seeing another human being? Or does it just mean any indication of there being another presence here? Which could be chalked up to the poltergeist. I don't know. Thank you very much. This looks a bit like... Yeah, I think this is where we went to restore the power. Let me see if I can head down here and find that fuse box again. What's it? Why did I leave my little box of fuses? No, those aren't my footsteps. I tell you the thing that keeps throwing me off about the footsteps is that they change slightly. Like, most of the time they're these sort of standard sort of office shoes on a hard surface. The national anthem of indie horror games. But, sometimes they kind of change to a kind of a splashing noise if I'm probably walking through some kind of puddle or something. Like there. Can you hear that? There's like a slight squelching noise as I walk, which just changes the nature of the footsteps a tiny bit, just enough to throw me off and make me think there's a second set of steps there, which is very competent game design. Hooray, we found it! That's better. Now I might just sit here for a while, frankly. Partly because my legs are tired from all this walking around, and also because if the power goes off again, I'm going to want to switch this back up. All right. It still hasn't changed. I don't know why I expected to, because it is a piece of paper after all, and not like a PDA or anything that would have the ability to be updated. So everything seems to be above board. So let me try and get back to the body. I think I heard another tapping sound. Let me try and get back to the body, and hopefully by the time we get there, the filtering process will have been completed. The game does a very good job with its sound design. I think a lot of work has gone into that. Because the vast majority of the sounds are very subtle, very missable, particularly when you're yammering on as much as I do. You think it's just for the video? No. This is a stress mechanism, my friend. That's what this is. Okay, right. I think we've made our way back basically to the beginning. Weird growling noise, almost like an animal. Very disconcerting. Maintenance. Yeah, let's go around this way. I think I feel like I know most of the office space relatively. Let's not go to the office. I feel like we've filled in one too many spreadsheets this week. I think we should go and see some plants. And hopefully not get murdered by poison ivy in the process. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I like this. This is very nice. This is very subtle, not just in its sound design, but also in its the actual proper scares themselves, like that weird demon ghost thing. I suppose it's more of a ghost than a demon, isn't it? Kitty odds. Yeah, I like that. I really do. I like a subtle scare. Because something more subtle is the kind of thing that can. Are there any other doors in this place? Yes, there is. Good. I really didn't want to go back down that corridor. Yeah, I like a subtle spook because it's the kind of thing you could imagine has been there for a while already and has been watching you or following you or tracking you in some manner. And then when you see it, you giddy on. Your body is no longer your own. Oh, fiddlesticks. I didn't keep up my payments and it got repossessed, literally. Where are you going to put me back to? The very beginning? That is not very kind. I am not a fan of permadeath. I never have been and I never will be. Oh gosh, the frame rate. What is up with the frame rate? I don't know. Let's stop moving so that the frame rate becomes slightly less noticeable. Bloody hell. Okay, that's annoying. I really don't like that. At least you could do is put me back to the part where I got the filter started or something. But give me a minute. I'm going to get us back to where we were up to because I don't like leaving games unfinished. Ugh. I really hope that hasn't been the whole way through. Let me get us back to where we were, and then I'll see if I can complete it without getting possessed. Right. Where are we? Well, it's very dark in there. Suspiciously dark in here. Why does my light keep flickering so much more? Is that because the poltergeist is getting closer to me? So I've got the filter. I put it down by the body, which I noticed is in a slightly different place to before. The filter was in the same place as usual, but the body had moved a bit. It only moved basically just up the corridor by about 10 feet or so, but it had moved. So that's curious. I need to try and get back to the body now, because the power went out and I brought it back on. And the frame rate seems to have picked up a little bit, which is nice. Trouble with the frame rate is I can never tell whether it's just the preview in OBS that's gotten screwed in, the recording's actually fine, or whether the recording itself has gotten screwed. It's very difficult to tell until you're at the end of this. Not that it would do an awful lot of good if I knew anyway, because there's not a hell of a lot I could do. But never mind, it doesn't matter. I've ended up back in the offices again, which is good. I'm not very far away from my objective. Okay, I'm trying to use the light as little as possible for the sake of not distracting attention on myself. Okay, I think the body's just round this corner to the left. Yes, here we are. Are you finished yet? You're not finished. I thought by the time I got back here I'd be done. Okay, is this just like a survival thing then? I just have to, like, last long enough? Without getting captured or killed? While I wait for the process to complete? Okay. There are a lot of audio and visual cues I've realised now that actually alert you to when the poltergeist is near. Like that breathing, for example. Which tells me to go the opposite direction. I keep turning my light off when I mean to shake it. Kitty yard. Very annoying. I'm not very good with the buttons, which is impressive because there's only about 4. But never mind. Gosh, I don't know what's happening. I presume there is just one spirit. There's not multiple spirits. I guess I'll just...
Filter process complete. Subject ready for termination.
Termination? That doesn't sound very pleasant. Mind you, getting murdered by a ghost isn't very pleasant either, so, you know, maybe it's tit for tat. Did we win? Nice music. What's that in the upper left corner? It's like a weird, like a rainbow crossed with a comet. Is this the experience of the poor fellow who's passing over into the next life? Oh, there is more! There is more to do, more to see, perhaps. Possibly, or possibly this is just a slightly more interactive cutscene. I don't know, this is quite beautiful. Oh yeah, there was like that lovely pretty bit with lots of light at the beginning of the game, wasn't there? I forgot about that. There's a person over there. I'd actually totally forgotten about that because he'd been in that dark environment for so long. In fairness, I'm actually not as cheesed off about the permadeath as I was when it initially happened, because it was a lot quicker to get back my progress, to recoup my progress, if you like, because I knew the layout of the map a lot better, so I could run around and get things done a lot more quickly. Oh gosh, I've just realised. Ah, this is not pleasant. Friend. It's taking a slightly more serious note all of a sudden, hasn't it? Oh gosh. There is some sort of undertow of a very interesting story going on here between either the characters and the ghosts of their souls, and also the strange sci-fi technology that we seem to have. There's a very interesting undertow of a story going on here that I feel like would be worth expanding upon within the sake of some lore or something. I'm still here? Oh, and I still have this! I mean, hooray, that's all I do. Keep the It's curious as well also that we're in just a couple of years into the future. Or possibly several years into the past, depending on how mucked up my schedule gets. But never mind. Yeah, because I feel like it would take more than another 3 years worth of technological progress for us to discover that souls are a thing and start implementing them into our daily duties at the mortuary. Do I need to leave, perhaps? Did it say anything about what to do at the end? Find the filter left behind and use it to process the deceased. I think process is a better word than terminate, to be quite frank. How very strange. What was through here? Nothing good. Nothing good. Just a naughty step for some naughty person to sit on when they've been bad. I noticed the light isn't flickering anymore, implying that we're possibly past the danger. But I feel like we're not past the danger. I feel like at the very least there's a jump scare coming at the end of this when I get out of this building. Because I don't trust this game, right? I really don't trust these little indie horror games. They've always got a trick up their sleeve. And they're never afraid to confuse you and spook you. Okay, good. This is that sort of funny reception office room that we saw earlier. Which is good, because I think our exit is just down this corridor. Yes, there we are. Light. I like light. Oh yeah, and there's that paint can that I chucked around for no particular good reason. I do find myself wondering why you can interact with those, Thank you. Why can you interact with things like the books and the paint cans and the little boxes and things and like chuck them around? Why can you do that? Oh, I can't turn my flashlight on now, which is interesting. I don't much mind, because the frame rate's fixed. Right. I love how these things just sort themselves out on their own without me having to do anything. It's lovely to have all these technological processes automated, isn't it? Yeah, this seems very fine when concluding. And that is it. Goodness. I really liked that. That was fantastic. Very nice music, beautiful environment, wonderful balancing of all the sound and the light, and lovely subtle spooky enemy. Lovely to have a nice different sort of enemy than what we usually have. Where can we go back to the menu actually for no particular good reason? Yeah, because so often in little indie horror games, they fall into a horrid stereotype of bad guys. It's just like, here's a demon or a monster or a villain of some kind that's just going to chase you down. There's going to be loud music, you're going to run away, you're going to hide in a locker, and then you'll get out and have to get on with your stuff again. And this kind of environment, where you need to collect certain items and complete certain tasks, often falls into that stereotype. But then this takes that idea and turns it around completely by having a very subtle kind of enemy in this ghost that almost just seems to be inhabiting this location, but doesn't seem to have a particular degree of malice towards you, in that it's not hunting you and trying to seek you out and kill you for sadistic purposes. But if you get in its way or you upset it, it will still kill you, which is a nice way of doing it, I think. It adds a certain feeling that the bad guys are kind of higher level and you're some sort of insignificant maggot and all it wants to do is complete its unearthly tasks, if you like. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it and making a mountain out of a proverbial molehill, but I really do like this. I really like its its style of horror, it being very subtle, it being very, I was going to say gentle, that's not the right word that I mean, but it's not like obnoxious and in your face like a lot of horror is for the sake of the spook value. This has a lot more of kind of an undertow of horror that's unsettling, I think, and that's probably a better way to describe it. So that was really good. I really, really enjoyed that. Beautiful environment, lovely sound. I have no complaints whatsoever. That was, well, I complain about the frame rate, but that isn't the game's fault, so thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent little game. I hope you enjoyed it. Look after each other, and good night.